Today on FTRTV, we're going to check out the Hanna high-range nitrate checker. G'day everyone, my name is David Meyer and welcome back to First Time Reefer TV. Now today, as I said, we're going to check out the Hanna nitrate checker, the high range checker that's just been released. I'm very fortunate that Hanna Instruments is actually just down the road from my house. So I can duck down there very quickly and grab myself this test kit. They came out with a low range one probably 4 months ago roughly, and it kind of flunked because it was heaps of processors. The tests took incredibly long to perform. There was quite a number of different tasks, and it was only low range, so it was only from 0 to 5 parts per million. These are the new ones that they've released, which is the high range from 0 to 75 ppm, I believe. Yep, 75 ppm, with resolutions of 0.1 parts per million. They are fantastic. I love Hanna checkers, and this is by no means a sponsored video at all. I went and bought this out of my own money, just in case anyone is wondering if I'm just saying nice things because it's sponsored, but 100% it isn't. But you know, nitrate is one of those ones I find that is extremely important to check, to keep on top of, because you know, once your nitrates get out of hand and your phosphates get out of hand, you can end up with a pretty big mess inside your tank. So I've been using the Hanna alkalinity checkers quite religiously. Now that I've got the automated testing as well, I still use the Hanna just as a reference every probably month or so. But I've been really wanting to check this out. So let's open up the box, check out what's inside, and we'll quickly do a test as well. All right, so let's open it up. Like I said, this is the HI782 checker. This is the marine nitrate high range in parts per million. Fantastic. And what I do love about the Hanna checkers these days is they come in a really nice case. Completely waterproof, you know, nice and sturdy as well. So if you do happen to just knock this a little bit, you're probably not going to damage your checker, which is fantastic. Now these do come already calibrated. There is a calibration solution that you can purchase as well separately. I'm not sure as to how often you need to calibrate it, but I did check with Hanna and they said that the unit does come calibrated already. It comes with 10 of these reagents in here, reagent powders, and you can purchase packs of 10 or 15, I think. But unfortunately they didn't have any stock because these have literally just arrived. So we got 10 of those there. You got the checker itself. So peel that off. I actually have to go get a screwdriver to chuck this battery in, so I'll do that in a second. So that's the checker down there. Comes with a battery as well. And you've got 2 of these vials to perform your test. This one's in quite strong. 2 10 mil vials. One for just tank water and one for tank water with the reagent. So we'll show you how the vials work in a second. And you've also got a little dropper here, which you can use just to get some tank water to put into these vials here. So let me go get a screwdriver, we'll get a battery into that unit and let's perform a test. Alright, so to get started, get a screwdriver. You can tell this is obviously my fish tank screwdriver because it's got a bit of rust on it from all the salt water, but take the little screw out there. Make sure you don't lose that. It's quite an easy thing to lose. And then just take off this bottom cover. Just like that. This is a little bit fidgety. Make sure you guys can see it. Take the bottom cover off like that. Your battery goes with the positive end sticking up the top, so that's the positive end. Goes in like that. Push this back in, and you got to make sure you just do, oops, that you do push this over the pin properly. Make sure they line up so that you don't have any issues. Push it down, and the screw goes back in. Not rocket science, just a little bit fidgety. There you go. That's the nitrate checker ready to go. So we'll quickly have a look at the instructions, just for the sake of it. But I'm pretty sure you just put water inside. So turn the checker on, fill the cuvette with 10 ml of unreacted sample and replace the cap. Insert it in, press the on-off button, and then when it says add C2, press the blinking checker is zeroed. Press the on-off button. When the display shows add C2 with press blinking, the checker is zeroed. You can remove that out, put the reagent in to the cuvette, or you can just do the other one, put it back in. The display will show the countdown prior to the measurement. Alternatively, wait 7 minutes and press the button. When the timer ends, the checker will perform the reading. The instrument displays the nitrate concentration in ppm. The checker automatically turns off after 10 minutes. So, let's rinse these in a bit of tank water. Should be able to just reach over and grab some tank water. Give these both just a quick shake of this, because you don't know what's inside. And now we'll fill these both up into the light. Bigger syringe would probably help and make this a lot easier. I've seen these pipettes as well, which you can basically just set how much you want the syringe to pull up all in one go, which would make testing much easier. But I think testing is incredibly important, and I think you need to find testing methods that are going to suit how you operate. And because I'll be honest, testing is probably not one of my favorite things to do. I prefer to either have it automated or using a checker like this. That'll make it a lot easier. Now you'll see there's a line there, and you'll notice the water actually concaves a little bit and comes up the side. You want the bottom of that arch to be in line with this here, because then that'll make sure that you got 10 mils inside. I'll quickly just screw both these up so then I don't drop them and water goes everywhere. Get my microfiber towel, and I always wipe these dry on the outside. I never put them in wet. Make sure there's no fingerprints that can affect anything. That's one. That's two. Now, my unit that tests says it's 0. I did a spin touch test the other day and that said 2. So I'm interested to see what this says. So before we get started, let's turn the checker on. So add, press C1. So that's going to be your first stage. So you put the cuvette inside. Make sure it's shut tightly. Yep. And when that unit finishes blinking, that'll mean that that is zeroed. Just double check. That's it. So today, add, press C2. So your second one will go in. So I probably could have done this already, but I like to flick the sides, get all of that reagent down to the bottom. I wish this came in a better form to make it easy to get all the powder out, but unfortunately this is what they use. I fold it on the angle like that, just cut along the line. Like that. We'll open this one up carefully Spread it apart like that. Pull this one up the top and make like a bird's beak almost, I suppose. And then slowly, I'm going to try and get all of this powder in without spilling anything. And I'm assuming not spilling anything would be incredibly important, as well as making sure you get out all that powder as well. A bit like my younger days. There we go. So that is clean now. Little bit of residual in there, but I can't really get it all out. And it says shake vigorously for 2 minutes. Dissolves pretty quick. And personally for me, I like to let that settle for a little bit just to get all of those bubbles out of the water column inside the tube. You can see there's a lot of fine bubbles in there. You don't want that to affect your test at all. So I'll let that stand for a little bit. In the meantime, we'll take this out. Take this out. All the bubbles are essentially gone out of that now. Add, press C2. Press and hold the on-off button. Press and hold the on-off button, and you'll see the 7-minute timer will come up, and then we'll come back after 7 minutes and check our result. Boom, one single step, one reagent, 7 minutes for the countdown timer to happen. I'm interested to see the result. Now coming down to the final 30 seconds of that timer there, so I'm actually really interested to see what my nitrate reading is, because I've been testing 0, but I don't know if I've been entirely trusting that. I have been dosing nitrate to the tank, and I am worried about just dosing too much. So we'll see what this result comes to us. So we've got 10 seconds left to come. Getting to 0, and it should give us a reading in ppm. And here we go. So my nitrate is 0. Oh, I should really trust my test kits. So 0, 0, and that's after dosing nitrate to the tank. So what does that mean? That means either my coral is consuming the nitrate that I'm adding to the tank. Well, that's the only. I mean, I've turned off my Gday. Refugium, so there's no refugium at the moment, so it's got to be just all the nitrate is getting consumed by the coral that's in the tank at the moment. But I do feed my tank heaps. I feed my fish, I feed my coral, but it looks like I'm going to have to just dose a little bit more nitrate to the system and get some more fish. So this means shopping time. But while we've got this, talking about the tank, let's give you guys a quick update on how the tank's looking as well. So let's give you guys another look at the system and see how some of the coral is doing. I'm getting some pretty good results in my SPS, and I can probably see why now that the nutrients are so low. It's starting to bring out, get rid of a lot of that brown, and the lights are doing a job. But I do want to get some more color into the acro, and especially my LPS. They're going to struggle a little bit with such low nutrients in the system. My phosphate is 0.02. Which I will bump that up just a little bit more. I like my phosphate to sit about 0.04 if I can, but nitrate at 0 is probably going to be a bit of an issue for the coral long term. So let's have a look in the system here. The acro is doing fantastic, and I want to show you guys. I mean, the light's only been on for about an hour or so, so a lot of the coral is probably going to be shut, but I will grab a couple of pieces just to show you guys how it's going. I've got this beautiful piece here. And it's probably not showing good, is it? So this one's got a bit of a green base and just some bright pink tips on it. My strawberry shortcake is doing really well as well. Getting some of that beautiful colour back after its wild collection. And the light stage is probably not in the best stage to see how good these coral are looking, but when you can see all of the coral is starting to get its colour back, even these guys at the front. The frags are growing fantastic, so I'm really happy with how the coral is performing. You can see this piece here, that's already starting to encrust onto the rock, and that's probably been in the tank about 3 weeks now, I would say. Even these guys, they're starting to grow over the glue and catching onto the rock, so that they'll be secure pretty soon. But really happy. This Monty cap at the back there, that's definitely grown. Probably about, get out of the way guys, probably grown about, I'd like to say maybe 10 mil or so at the moment in about 3 weeks. So it's doing pretty well, getting some really nice colour at the back there too. The Gday garden up the front, this one's just been stung by something that's been rogue in the tank, so I'm not sure, so I'm probably going to frag that up a little bit just to clean up and get it onto a nicer plug. That glitter Gday's doing fantastic. We got the little baby desh that I've got here, one that I got from Lamb, which is an absolutely gorgeous deshy there, and then another one from Shane. Mate, get out of the way, I'm trying to film. And that one there, gold spot, if you can see it, sorry. Back there, a fully 100% aquacultured gold spot dish. Why is everyone, you got 8 foot of tank space and you're eating right in front of where I'm filming, guys. But a 100% aquaculture gold spot dish, and I'm loving these little mini dish that I'm getting. So hopefully I can get a bit more of a collection into the tank, and that'll look really nice. This acan, that came from Gallery Aquatica, which they held for me for quite a while. But have a look at how fluffy and pillowy and happy those acans are. They're forever hungry and always got their feeding tentacles out, but they're just like little blobs of flubber just sitting in the water there. This rick here, that was the $1,000 rick that got stung quite a while back. That's made a full recovery, and I actually think this knobbly side is the side that it actually got stung on, so it's grown back a lot nicer. But that's might be time to frag that too soon, possibly. But looking at the rest of the tank, the Gdays are happy. The chalice, a little bit pissed probably because of the low nitrate, but we'll get some nitrate in the system, give them a good feed and get them back up. The Gdays aren't extending as much, and that probably explains why, because the nutrients are so low. The hammers are loving life, and something new that I've actually just been doing is actually feeding my hammers, feeding them the pellets. Guys, you're making it really difficult for me to film here. But I'm feeding them NEM pellets, the Vitalis NEM pellets, and I feed all of my LPS them. And they actually grab onto the pellets, and you can see them feeding it into the mouth. And I've been noticing lately that my hammers are a lot more fluffy, a lot more plump. So both the hammers and the torch that I've got in there, I have been feeding, and I've been seeing really positive results. So I'm going to stick with feeding them probably twice a week, and see how much better these guys can get. The Gdays out the back there, they're really happy and opening and really cooperating with me today. This guy unfortunately is bleached out a little bit. I think too low in nutrients, too high a light. So I've got it into the shade. Hopefully it should be able to recover. This Trachophilia, which as soon as Mr. Scopez gets out of the way, but he is the size of like a little basketball. You can see how much he's opened up, his feeding tentacles are out, and he's an absolute stonker of a trachea. Guys, you're making it really difficult. Absolute stonker of a trachea. So I think he's going to set the precedence to have a little bit of a trachea garden hugging the rock around on this side. But I've been really enjoying feeding that trachea, just to watch it really get so puffy and happy. That came from Ben at Exotic Aquaculture. And a beautiful, I mean, the colours aren't as intense because it's so puffed up, but when it was a little bit smaller, really nice yellows, greens, reds, burgundies in it, and some really pretty striations. So really happy with that. Got some beautiful Echinata, 2 monster pieces sitting up here. This front piece You guys are making it so hard. This front piece here is doing really well. And then I've got a couple of new chalice pieces that I moved from the other tank over. This Monty was bleaching in the other tank, so I've moved it over here into the shade a little bit just to see if it'll recover. But these, I'll probably just stick underneath the rockwork somewhere. But this beauty here, that guy open is like close to the size of a soccer ball. Absolutely monstrous. And its tentacles aren't even all the way out yet, but that's come from Dean at Ozfish Coral. And I am an absolute sucker for a good gonny, and this monster red gonny like that, which is literally, you know, the skeleton is probably the size of my hand. I'll put a picture up in the corner, but this opened up, it's absolutely spectacular. I'm going to knock off the bottom of it and just make it flat so it can just completely sit down, and probably going to sit it under some frag plugs, and as it grows I can just pull the frag plugs off. But I'm really looking forward to just cleaning that one up a little bit and getting it stood up really nice. I've got a, you probably can't see, but I've got a Monty cap just sitting in the back there. I'm going to fix him down soon because I have it a bit further out, but he keeps getting blown back underneath the rockwork. But he's doing really, really happy. And as you can see, the fish are absolutely loving life in there. They're getting nice and fat and plump, and I'm looking forward to adding some more fish now that I know that the system can cope with a little bit more, or could do with a little bit more nutrients. But this lipstick tang, he's so full of character, so is this rabbit fish. And after going to Marcus McNamara's house and seeing how fast his blue tang grew, I realised like probably I need to bump up my feeding. So that hippo tang is certainly looking like a hippo. It's really nice and chunky. There is one purple tang that sort of gets banished to this back section of the tank there, but there's been no damage done to him, just a little bit of aggression to say, get out of my way. But everyone else has been cooperating really well and living together happily, and you can see them just grazing there. But really happy with how the tank is performing at the moment. I've got nothing that I would probably change inside the tank. Other than adding some more coral. Now, and I've been doing a few videos about some LFS tours in Sydney, but I've had heaps of requests to talk about this Illumagic X4 light, and I'm telling you guys, these are a fantastic light, putting out a really beautiful spectrum. We'll talk about spectrum and par as well, because a lot of people do chase par, but spectrum is incredibly important as well. But having them mounted so high, and I think they've got a 70-degree lens, it's just putting this really beautiful, even spread of light across the tank. And as you can see, the results are speaking for themselves with all the coral and how happy they are. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. The Hanna Nitrate Checker is definitely a winner. This one-step process to get it done certainly make things a lot easier. Now they've only literally just arrived into Australia, so there won't be too many around. I know Lamb from Fisher Friends just received his shipment as well. So he's got some. Nature Creams have got some coming to their store. They haven't got any in stock yet. The boys, Matt Sim from Fragmate, I saw him shipping out some, as well as Ben Wood from Kraken Corals. But highly recommend you guys get onto one of these, because it certainly alleviates that difficult process of testing water, which I don't think anyone loves. Maybe not everyone, but most of us probably find it a bit of a chore. But making it easier is going to make you do it more often. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update of the tank as well. If you like this video, smash that like button. If you've got any questions whatsoever about the new Hanna checkers or my tank, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And please consider subscribing, because it costs you guys absolutely nothing. It's going to go a long way into helping the channel. And my friends, until next time, peace.